Hello, fellow educators. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. Please let me know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. Feel free to share the link to this video with any other educators that might find this useful. So today we are going to make a music rhythm Among Us game. I am a music educator, so that is what I focus on. If you are a PE teacher or some other kind of teacher and you can figure out a different use, by all means, do whatever you would like with it. I'm just going to show you the basics on how to make your own, how to add some effects, how to make some animations happen, and just walk you through the steps that I did when I created this. Okay? So again, if you have any questions, please reach out. But hopefully I make everything super simple and super easy. And again, if you need to re-listen to something, feel free to pause the video, go back, and then re-listen to it. So in the description of this video, I will leave a copy of this presentation so that when you click it, it'll force copy. You will need a Google account, so anything that has Google Drive or Google Slides. And then the other application that you will need is Audacity. Okay, so once you copy the link and you look it up, this is what everything should look like. You will have all of the Among Us characters. You will have all of the sounds for each of the slides. And if you scroll all the way to the bottom, I've even included more additional Among Us characters, the Among Us ghosts, and rhythms that are transparent so that you can easily make what we're about to make without having any other hassle or doing anything different. All right? So, the very first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to move my rhythms up to my very first slide. So game number 1. The first thing that I like to do is I like to write out what rhythms I'm going to do. And so I've already kind of done that. I have my binders. So I'm going to use a quarter, quarter, paired eighth note, quarter, quarter, paired eighth note, then quarter, paired eighth note, rest, rest, quarter. All right, this is super simple. I'm doing it for a kindergarten through first grade, maybe second grade. If you want to add more rhythms, as you see, I've added paired 16th notes and a bunch of other rhythms. If you want to use those, feel more than happy to. Um, again, I'm just walking you through what I would do and the younger grades, and again, just experiment how you see fit. So now that I have my rhythms and I know what I'm going to do, I'm going to start putting my rhythms on. So from here, excuse me, I've already shrunken a couple rhythms so that they should fit. And so I'll go over to my slide here and I'll click paste and then I'll drag it to where I want it to be. So let me open my notebook again because I want to make sure that I do this correctly. So quarter, quarter, and then I'll just start putting all the quarter notes down. I don't need to go character by character because that would be too tedious, too much copying and pasting, and it just takes way too much time. So I'm just gonna get my quarter notes done, and then I'll move over to my quarter rests because I only have 2, which is here and here. And then lastly, I have a paired eighth note. Obviously, this one's too big, but I'm going to try and put it on. I see that it's too big. I'll shrink it so that it's a decent size and nothing gets cut off, or do my best not to cut anything off. But again, you just might need to reshrink it again. Let's see how that looks. That looks okay. It's a little cut off at the top, so I'm just going to shrink it a little bit more. And then from here, let's check how it looks. That looks better, so I'll copy and then paste and put that one right over here. All right. So I now have all of my rhythms where I want them to be. And again, if I'm going too fast, feel free to pause the video and go at your own pace. So now that I'm done here, I'm going to move my rhythms because I don't really need them. I'll put them on game 2. I'll use them later. And so here's the next part. All of your Among Us characters currently are linked to the slide that they belong to, right? So each slide has this person is not the imposter. Oh, gotta fix that typo mistake. That this person is not the imposter or this person is the imposter. And so what I need to do now is I also need to link up these rhythms to the same exact slide. Because unfortunately, what happens is when you group them together, you no longer have the option to link them to a slide. Really unfortunate. Google needs to get on that and fix it. But you can't do it. So, as a workaround, not only is your Among Us character going to be linked, but we're also going to link the rhythms. So, I'm going to go here and I'll link it to page number 4. And then I'll do red next because that's the next one. I'll click the link button at the top. You can also hit Control K. Slide is in this presentation, and I'll link it to slide 5. So just so you can see what'll happen, if I go to present right now from here, and I'm like, oh, my students think it's white, so let's click on white. But I click on the rhythm, it'll just send me to the next slide. If I click on the person, it'll send me to their slide. But we don't always have time to do that. Like sometimes we're like, oh, let's click. You click the center of mass, takes you to the next one. So this is just a foolproof way to make sure that it goes to the correct slide. So now you're going to want to do that with the rest of your slides. Okay? I won't take the time to do that with the rest of the slides. I'm just going to show you the quick way on how to do one slide. All right? So now that you've done all of them to your slides, all of these rhythms link to the exact slide that they are supposed to. I'm going to take yellow. And again, you will do this with everyone, but I'm just going to do this with yellow. You will have to click on the rhythm and then click shift and then also left click on the person. All right, you'll know you did this right because the rhythm will be in like a light blue and my Among Us person will be in a blue. And then I'll click Control C because that's a copy. And then I'll go to my yellow page. So for here, I don't need this, so I'm just going to delete him. And then I'm going to paste. So here's the next part. This is what part's a little tricky. You need to make sure that you group these two rhythms together. So you can do that in two ways. One, you can right click, which will give this option, and then you'll just click group, or you can click Control Alt and G. You know you've done it right when you can click off of it and then click back on, and all of it is highlighted. You can also move it to where you want it to be. All right? And again, from here, you can kind of move it, but if you would like to ungroup them, you can do so. That way you can move your quarter note to like a better position. Please note that when you do group it, that image loses the ability to be linked, like I said earlier. So, all right, you won't need it, but it loses the ability to be linked. So from here, I'm going to add the animations. Again, most of the animations will already be pre-installed when you click, but if not, I'll run through those as well. So to make my Among Us character fly in from the left and also spin, we need to click on fly in from the left. And we're going to do that with previous. What with previous does is that you don't have to click anything. Like as soon as you get to this slide, everything starts moving. It's less hassle. It's just better for you. And now I'm going to move that to 2.8. Now this part is important. It needs to be at 2.8. The sound files that I have play the actual like space sound. And I have made it so that by the time you have flown and you spun in 2.8 seconds, the words will appear, and when the words appear, that's when the sound happens, okay? So it's just a little bit of tinkering, but that's when the sound happens. So again, you're going to fly in from the left with previous, and you're going to make sure that you're on exactly 2.8. Why is it not moving? Stop. Something's going on with my unable to load file, reload. And sometimes that'll happen, so don't freak out. But now, let's delete this. I have flying from the left, it's at exactly 2.8 with previous. So now I'm going to click add animation. Same thing, same yellow guy. Gonna click spin with previous, and again, you want it to be at the same time because it just looks nice. We're gonna play it so we can check out what it looks like. That looks nice and smooth. Everything appeared nicely. And now we're going to do this. We're going to stop We're going to go back, we're going to present, and we're going to make sure that the sounds align. So let's click on yellow. It might need to reload in a second. I'll just preemptively reload. And it works. So the sound works, the flying and the spinning works. Perfect, okay? So, again, you will do the same exact thing with all of your Among Us characters. So with the red, again, you're going to select the rhythm, shift click, left click the person so that both are selected. You'll copy it, so Control C, or you can just right click, copy, go back. This guy doesn't need to be here, so we'll delete him. Paste, Control Alt G to group it together. Move it to wherever you want. Click animate, move it to the top because you want your Among Us character to be the first one. You'll click with previous, fly in from the left at 2.8 seconds. Add another animation for your Among Us person so he can do the spins. With previous is already selected and 2.8. And just like that, you've made another Among Us and you're halfway done with this project. The other question that I've had is for our rhythms. As you can see, sometimes they're hard to see, especially if you're like, I want a Black Among Us character. Like, I want this one to have rhythms on it. What you could do, and again, I'll go over this a little bit later, but what you could do is as you go, Control V, so my rhythm is now pasted. And now it is on my Among Us character. That's very difficult to see. So what you could do is you'll right click the rhythm and then you're going to go to format options. From here, you're going to go to recolor and there's no recolor on it. And what you're going to want to do, is you're going to want to click on negative. This turns the rhythm white, which now makes it easier to see for your students. So all of your rhythms could be white, they could all be black, it doesn't really matter. It just makes it easier to see, and you can put it on any one of them. Again, it's just for ease of visibility. So you may find this useful, you may not care about it, but the option is there. Alright, so back to my first game. So again, all of these have their sounds equipped. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to talk to you guys about the quit. So all of these buttons, the quits, take you to whichever screen is aligned. So yellow is not the imposter. So let's say that you're playing this game, your students have already guessed, they guessed yellow, that was their third try, and they've lost the game. They weren't able to find the imposter. When you click on the quit button, it'll take you to slide number 12, which is the imposter winning signal. So I'll just put green in there because for this game, green was the imposter. So I'll put green here. He doesn't need a link. Boom. And now I have my imposter. So again, just so we can check, we'll go to presents. And again, sometimes the sound, if you just jump straight into it, the sound might not go. So I would recommend just going from this screen and then checking to make sure that the animation and sound line. So yellow is not the imposter. Let's quit. And now we're at the losing screen, right? But now let's say we win, right? Let's say they choose green, the animation happens, they'll go to the victory. And when we go to the victory, we want everyone to be there. Everyone that's not the imposter, at least. So here's what we'll do. We'll go back to our main screen. And remember, all of our rhythms and all of our Among Us characters aren't connected right now. They're not grouped because they can't be. So you're going to need to shift, left click each of these Among Us characters and their rhythms in order to copy them. Control C or right click and copy. And then we'll go down to the slide, victory slide, and we'll click paste. So obviously this is too big because we want all of them to be next to each other on this line. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to make it a little bit smaller. That looks good. And then from here, again, you will need to control or to shift click both of them and then group them together. Again, this means that the rhythm and the Among Us character will be together. They will not move without the other, and it just makes everything look nicer and cleaner. All right. Shift click. So I'll group them all together. This will be my middle guy. And it doesn't really matter the order. If you wanted to put the correct order in, so for how the rhythms were on top, you can do that as well. And again, this would be a really cute time if, let's say, for this game, Dark Green is my imposter. This would be a really cute time for you to grab a ghost and put a rhythm on the ghost and then add them in the victory screen as well. I won't do that because, to be honest, it doesn't matter for me. But if you wanted to do something like that, you are more than welcome to. All right? So here's how I do it now, because in the game, the characters fade in. This is probably the easiest part of creating this game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on my middle guy. I'm going to go to animate. I'm going to add animation. He's going to fade in, and instead of on click, I'm just going to need to make sure I click with previous. So again, as soon as this slide pops up, everything starts rolling. All right? The less you have to do while you're playing this game, the easier it is. And now I'll go to my next people. And so the ones next to it, I still want it to be with previous, but I'm going to make it a 1.5 delay. That way it kind of seems like everyone else is coming in after. And that's what I'm going to do with the rest of them. As I move out, I'm going to make sure to have with previous. And again, add 0.5 seconds to how long it takes them to appear. To a maximum of your outside guys, that'll be 2.5 seconds. And again, you can change this if you want. This is just the way that I do it. If you want to make your durations shorter, you are more than welcome to. All right, so now I'm going to click play just to see what it looks like. I think that looks nice. I'm going to click stop. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from this screen. So for my imposter screen, I will now click on anywhere except for the play again, which will take me to the victory screen. And that looks nice. I like that. All right. So now, if you followed my directions and made sure you paused where you needed to, you would have your game finished. And that's game 1. Again, in this copy, you can play up to 3 games. You can add more. The last thing that I'll do, though, and this makes it foolproof, so like nothing bad can happen, is I'll take my slide, so my main slide, I'll copy it, and I'll just paste it at the end of every one of my slides. And that way, and I'll show you why. That way, let's say you're playing the game, right? The kids choose yellow. You'll click on yellow. It'll go there. Yellow is not the imposter. So then all you need to do is click anywhere in the screen, and it brings you right back to the main menu. And you'll never have an issue where it's like it goes straight to the ending or it goes straight to victory, because there's always another one of these slides. Even if I'm on like slide 19 and I go back to yellow, I am now on slide 5. All right? So that makes it foolproof, so that no matter what you do, unless you click the exit or the quit button, the students won't be able to figure out who it is prematurely. All right? So now let's go with the quit buttons, okay? Let's talk about the quit buttons. If your character is not the imposter, here's what you're going to do. You're going to go onto the quit button. Let's say, for example, let's say I don't have this there, right? You're going to click on the quit button, and you're going to link it. Again, same thing as you did with your other ones. You're just going to link it to the correct slide. So if red is not the imposter, if the students click this as their final answer, then they lose the game. So of their third guess. So I'm going to make sure that I link it to slide 20, because that still is in my game 1. And now let me double check to make sure. So the sound's a little off because, like I said, sometimes when you jump straight into it, it doesn't always line up. But again, you can double check by going back. So if I hit quit, It goes straight to there. Perfect. And then if the character is the imposter, just make sure to link the quit button to the correct slide. So in this case, it's going to be slide 21 because that's the victory slide. And boom, it'll be easy. So now your game is almost finished. So here's what I like to do. So the program Audacity that I was telling you about, I like to use Audacity as a tool. So for example, here's my rhythm. Ta 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 di ta. Again, I use Takadimi. If you do ta titis, you can change it to whatever you want, or you can change the sounds to whatever you feel comfortable with. Okay, it doesn't have to be ta tati. It can be tiri tiri. Again, whatever you're comfortable with. But my kids know takadimi, so I'm going to use takadimi. So I have ta ta or ta 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 di ta di sh ta. Right? So that's my rhythms. If I know that my green guy over here, dark green, if he's the imposter, then I need to make sure that I do a different rhythm for him. All right? So, for example, instead, what my correct rhythm could be is ta, 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 di, sh. All right? That way, when the students are following along and they sing along, they'll be like, hey, that's not what I see. That's a ta, but what I heard was a sh. So what you can do is you can do this. You're going to pull up Audacity, and then when you're ready, you're going to click record. Audacity is a very, very user-friendly program. Would highly recommend it. All right, so I'm going to start recording, and now as I'm talking to you, it's still picking it up. But now I'm going to say the rhythms that I want, which is 1, 2, ready, go. Ta, 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 di, sh, ta, di, sh, ta. Then I'm going to click the stop button, which will stop the recording. And now I have all of these parts of me just talking. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to figure out where the 1, 2, ready, go starts. The rhythms that I want, which is 1. So the rhythms that I want. So it starts right here. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to click right at the start of it. I can see my voice. And then I'm going to delete everything in front. So that's just me counting. 1, 2, ready, go. Ta, 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 di, sh, ta, di, sh, ta. So I end right here. So what I can do is I can delete the rest. And now I'm going to export it as a WAV file. So when you click on File, you're going to click Export. You're going to click Export as a WAV file. Now, I'm not a sound engineer. I don't work with MIDI files or any of this on the regular, so I don't know what the difference between a WAV and an MP3 is. All I know is that I've been told that a WAV file produces better sounds. So that's what I'm going to do. So once you do that, make sure you save it somewhere. I'm going to do it'll be in your downloads when you're here. So I'm going to do example for teachers. Boom. So now that's saved on my computer. So now here's what I'm going to do. So this is why I said that you're going to need a Google Drive account. So in your Google Drives, I like to be very organized. So if I go to my drive, I have a file where it's a Rhythm Among Us, and then I have everything in order that I need. So I'm going to go to audio files, and then I'm going to upload a file. And right here is the file that I just created. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to click open, which is going to bring it into my Google Drive. All right. So now I'm going to go back to my game. And to insert the audio, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure I'm on the correct slide. I'm going to go insert audio. And then if you've recently done it, you can go to recent. It depends on how much you use it. And then boom, it's right here. Select. And now it pops up. So when you hear audio playback, you can either have it on click or you can have it automatic. All right. I have it on click for most of these. All right. And again, that's personal preference. The only ones where it's automatic are, I believe, my intro, game one, as well as my imposter winning and my victory. All right. So I'm going to leave it on click, stop on slide change. That's important. And now I'm going to make sure it sounds good. Ready? One, two, ready, go. Ta, 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 di, sh, ta, di, sh, ta. And that's exactly what I wanted. Perfect. All right. And just like that, even though this slide has it, here's what I'm going to do. If you make a change like this and you're like, oh no, now I have to do that with all of these, worry not, because here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to delete these extra slides. You'd be like, why would you delete them? Now we don't have them. Here's why. Because now when I copy and paste, it goes to every single one. Each one has an audio file on it now. All right? And congrats, give yourself a round of applause. With all of that, you have now created game one of your Rhythm Among Us game. It's super simple, easy to do, and it looks nice. And you can give it a play by yourself and see what it's like, um, and just enjoy having fun. I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to bring this actually back to the rest. But as you can see, you just have to do that with the rest of these slides. Oh, misspelled again. You'll just need to go through the rest of these slides and again, create your own games. Again, it doesn't have to be exactly like mine. It could be different. Like I said, the reason for this is just give you the tools to make your own game and to help your kids in this time of COVID and concurrent learning and virtual learning just have a more enjoyable time and just be more engaged. I mean, no teacher likes concurrent teaching. No teacher likes being in front of a computer. All of us want to be with our students and have fun and make sure that the teaching and learning that's happening is interactive and engaging. That's the goal for all of us. And this is a great way to do that. If you keep scrolling down more, though, the final one will be a thanks for playing slide. In case you need further directions, I have a how to play option there as well. Below are the game keys. So let's say you have a sub and you want them to play this. It's pretty easy. Again, you just have to tell them to read how to play, or you can write it out on your sub plans and have the keys here. And then at the bottom is just a little bit about me, so you have my name, my email in case you are having any issues with this program, or if you just need a little extra assistance in creating yours, or if you want someone to just look at yours and see what it's like. And then, not that it's required or necessary, but I've also listed my Venmo and PayPal. If you would like to say thank you and just donate financially, you're more than welcome. But again, not required. I don't do this to make money. I do this to help kids learn more about rhythms, engage more in musical literacy, and just to have an overall better time. Okay, well, that is it. I have gone through everything that you need to create your own Among Us game. If you have any questions, again, please reach out. You just saw my email right there. Please reach out to me. Ask me questions. If you want me to look over, I'm more than happy to. Feel free to send out this video to any of your educator friends. They might find this useful, they might not, and that's okay. Um, but yeah, all right. Without further ado, you guys are done. Make sure you engage your students with this and just enjoy having fun. Make sure you share this with people. Again, this is free content for anyone that wants it. So make sure you're spreading um, that joy of learning and that generosity to others. All right. Have fun, guys. Enjoy.